As the ship approaches land, a young Willy Wonka is seen singing a song while perched on a mast. When the ship docks, Willy keeps singing, but gives away all but one of his silver pieces, the last of which he dumps down the drain. A dog named Tiddles approaches and sniffs Willy's leg later that evening. He prepares to sleep on a park bench. A guy then invites Willy to spend the night in his sanctuary. After entering Screwbit and Bleacher's safe haven, Willy goes to the hearth to get cozy. After Mrs. Screwbit hands Willy a contract to sign, Noodle, one of the employees, advises him to carefully study the document before signing, but Willy does it without hesitation. Noodle is then reprimanded by Mrs. Screwbit and thrown in a coop. When Willy returns to the gourmet store the following day, he tells the customers about his new flying chocolates. 3 chocolatiers notice this and notify the police. Then they go try some. The 3 begin to float around after scolding Willy harshly, and the police show there. The chief of police gives Willy a silver coin when he requests for money for his rent. Regretfully, nevertheless, Mrs. Screwbit informs Willy he must repay the remaining sum because he misread the contract and that the coin won't be sufficient. After that, Willy descends the laundry chute and meets a number of folks who met with similar ends to his own. When Noodle entered Willy's room that evening and informed him that she had never tasted chocolate, he used his chocolate maker to make her a treat and shared with her the tale of his early years. His mother used to make delicious chocolate, and they had intended to buy Willy's desired spot in the gourmet store, but she passed away soon after, and he never learned her trade secret. Willy offers Noodle a lifetime supply of chocolate since she takes a mouthful and appreciates it. But she is upset that she won't be able to have any more. Noodle also tells Willy how they can get away. Concurrently, beneath the cathedral, the chief of police convenes with the chocolatiers. They motivate him, via a song, to end the competition and banish Wonka. They promise him 1,000 chocolate boxes in exchange, and he accepts. After trying to make Screwbit and Bleacher fall in love the following morning, Willy returns down the chute and shows an invention that will do all of their labor for them, allowing him and Noodle to flee. Noodle doesn't believe Willy when he tells about a little orange man with green hair. Willy continues by saying that he needs to manufacture more chocolate and that giraffe milk is what he needs to make it. They sneak in at the zoo after handing the security guard a chocolate that contains several alcoholic beverages, which causes him to pass out. Upon entering the zoo, Willy's inability to read is exposed as he opens the door to the tiger rather than the giraffe. As Willy is milking the giraffe, Noodle lets him know that her name isn't actually Noodle. It was just presumed to be when Screwbit discovered her in a basket wearing a necklace with an N on it. Willy and Noodle sing and dance on the roof of the gourmet store as they make their way out of the zoo, but the cops catch them in the act after he snatches some balloons and floats there. After speaking with Willy, slips back inside the workshop. A story is told by one of them about how the trio has been conspiring for a long time, and he used to work for one, Slugworth, but he was fired for spying. Willy then reveals to them that he makes chocolate, and that his dream is to own the store. That evening, Willy gives Noodle some chocolates, and after some discussion, the group decides to support Willy in realizing his ambition. The next day, Willy tests a range of delectable new confections on members of the public, while the police follow him around. After finding a chocolate wrapper, the chief of police soon finds out that he has been making his escape down the drains on the road. While all of this is going on, the little orange man goes back to Willy's room and accidentally steps into a trap that Willy had set to wake him up. When Willy tries to leave, the guy threatens to strike him with a frying pan and steal the chocolate, telling him he is an Oompa Loompa and that he is upset in Willy for stealing cocoa beans from Loompa Land. The pals gave Willy the store keys and opened it the following day. It was a bit of a dump at first, but they quickly cleaned everything up. Everything went great for the grand opening, but then the customers rebelled and set the business on fire when it was discovered that someone had tampered with the delicacies. After the others leave Willy by himself among the debris, the 3 chocolatiers show up bearing a little case full of cash, which they promise to give to his pals provided Willy agrees to permanently leave the town. Willy shows out at the docks later that evening, shakes Slugworth's hand, and goes out. The Oompa Loompa was also on board, and he threatens to not leave Willy alone until he gets the chocolate. Willy discovers a A mark on Noodle's hand and knows that he is in serious danger. Instead of seeing the captain, Willy and the Oompa Loompa discover dynamite attached to the wheel. The two leap off. After that, Slugworth goes to give the money to Screwbit. The following morning, Mr. Bleacher and Mrs. Screwbit let everyone leave with their money. However, Noodle is told that her money was meant to keep her there, and Mrs. Screwbit then takes her and tosses her back into the coup. Willy shows up out of nowhere and informs Noodle that they are going to go take the ledger and free Noodle from the coup. Noodle begs the father for some chocolate at the cathedral while posing as a nun, but he declines. After going to the zoo, Willy and a few others take the giraffe and let it go loose in the cathedral. Telling Willy and his friends to get rid of it, the father calls the zoo on the other end of the phone.
Slugworth calls the father and heads straight to the cathedral after learning what has happened. Willy and Noodle, meantime, had descended beneath the cathedral and were looking for the book.
At
last, Noodle unlocked a hidden door within the wall and removed the book.
Regretfully,
Slugworth and his friends managed to get hold of them and place them into a massive chocolate mixer. After telling them that the N is actually a Z,
which belonged to his brother Zebedee,
Slugworth locks the door, takes Willy's chocolates for the Oompa Loompa, eats them and leaves Willy and Noodle to drown in a river of chocolate. Noodle is told that he promised her mother she would be in good hands, but he threw her down the laundry chute and told her that she had died. But Noodle planned to let the chocolate carry them up so they could rap on the window. Sadly, no one was willing to assist them, and the two eventually failed.
Thankfully, Oompa Loompa saved the day, and the two emerged carrying the book. The now obese chief of police exited the vehicle and was informed that both he and the chocolatiers were being taken into custody. When the chocolatiers begin to float once again, Willy reveals that the chocolate they had been eating was, in fact, the flying chocolate from before. Slugworth says they'll return before vanishing into thin air. Then Willy at last learns his mother's secret, that what matters is sharing the chocolate with the ones you love, not the chocolate itself. After giving a piece to each person, Willy tells Noodle that her mother works at the neighborhood library. The two rekindle their friendship, and Willy shows the Oompa Loompa an old castle that he intends to turn into a factory, with the Oompa Loompa taking on the role of chief chocolate taster. As the credits roll, the Oompa Loompa tells the story of all that occurred to everyone, even Bleacher and Screwbit.